first and foremost, sorry for the energy tank today. I have a little cold. It's not COVID, don't worry. But I took some cough syrup before stream. I woke up this morning. I'm getting up like fairly early, like 7 or 8. And I woke up and I'm like, oh, I feel like a little bit like a little congested, a little cold, and I took a test, a COVID test, and I was fine. And then I went and I took NyQuil instead of Dayquil like an idiot. So like I'm just groggy from that. That's what the medicine is what's making me tired. Anyway, somebody reached out to me, and they reached out to me about this Five Nights at Freddy situation. My understanding is that this person's Jonochrome is an animator for the FNAF series. You guys know Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm well aware of it. I watched a lot of the gamer theory videos on it. Very interesting, but not a particular fan of the game myself. Anyway, somebody that's part of the community reached out to me. I'm going to read what they said to me, and then we're going to review the information. So, this is just like bothering me. There we go. Hello, Father Gut. You do not know me, but I'm a big fan of yours. I messaged you today to inform you. Sorry, I'm old. I gotta increase the size of this. Oh my, I'm getting so bad at reading. Big fan. I messaged you today to inform you about some recent events that unfolded yesterday, which you may be interested in. So I'm from the Five Nights at Freddy's community, the spooky game by Scott Cawthon, I think you say it. And yesterday, a huge person got outed as a pedophile. He goes by Jonochrome. He groomed a girl for years on straight and is now getting away with it by gaslighting his fans. What makes it even worse is that he's hired by Scott Cawthon himself. The expose. They send me links, but I already have them open, so I won't look at them. Then he has a response to it where he basically denies it. But then also basically explains how he did groom them. There's another link. And Jonochrome's gaslighting apology, another link. It is disgusting seeing him entirely get away with it and being praised by everyone for taking accountability. Taking accountability is the way that they phrased it. When he groomed a girl for years till she was of legal age. It'd be great if you could spread awareness about this and give your thoughts on the situation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So this is the person's account right here. It says, even though... Oh, let me... Wow, you know what? I can't read. Even though this account will be inactive until further notice, please consider it 18 plus from now on and follow, do not interact otherwise. Okay, that's not really a good sign to start off with. My understanding is this person's age is right here. He is now 27 years old. So let's explore a little bit. So first and foremost, this is his response to everything going on. It says, I'm sorry to anyone I've disappointed today. I don't aim to make anyone's life worse, but it's apparent I shouldn't trust my own judgment anymore. It's another red flag. You shouldn't trust your own judgment. Feels like a downplay. I don't accept that my only option now is to give up. I could be gone a long time, but I'm not going to stop seeking help. I don't really... It's another red flag to me. There's a common trend when people do things wrong and they say, I'm going to seek help. The problem is what does that mean? I always ask that question because there's always this thing. I'm looking for help. Oh, I'm trying to get help. I'm trying to get help. Well, what does that mean? So if you have tendencies to talk to people that are underage, the help you would need is a therapist. You'd have to admit to them that you're a pedophile, and you'd have to move forward from there. But I always ask that question because most of the time people just say this. They go like, "Oh, I'm gonna seek help," but they don't have an act. They're just saying that as a thing, so that people won't feel so bad for them. They'll be like, "Oh, look, they're growing." It's like, are they? Okay. So, okay. So here we go. This is apparently the truth about Jonochrome and my witnessed account. So we have this thing here. We'll have these allegations here. Okay. Fantastic. This Twitlonger has way too many ads. Okay. Hello, my name is unimportant in this matter, and I'd rather stay anonymous. I love the community. I absolutely have been part of the FNAF fandom ever since 2014. The point of this is to try and make it safer for everybody, and minors. Don't go attacking Scott over this. He absolutely had no way of knowing who Jonochrome really is. I also strongly insist that minors should stay away within their age groups when meeting friends in the same fandom online, whether artists or not. Yeah, this is one of those like common themes online. Jesus, get out of here. Is there's a lot of people online, like a lot of older people who are looking to take advantage of younger people. It's incredibly disgusting. With that said, this is my testimony coming clean about Jonochrome. After seeing the release of ONAF 3, assuming that's a game, and how Jonochrome has insisted on staying with the community and fanverse. I cannot stand by and allow him to continue being with the fandom, and I really should have come forward much earlier when I initially found out. I was involved with plenty of his group DMs from 2016 to 2018. Okay, so what's 2021, right? So we're talking about 3 to 5 years ago. So we're talking about, he's 27. I know my math is slow today, so we're talking about like 22 to 24. Okay, that's how old he was in this. A girl by the name of Emily was 13, 14. There's no excuse at all. 22 to 24 and 13 and 14. Absolutely not. At the time, and came all out about his relationship with her. In group DMs we've had, Jonochrome is already in his 20s. Charges cannot be pressed by, as Emily would need to do it herself, as she would now be 19. So she's 19 now. Okay, so this is 5 years ago. So she would be, yeah, she would be like 14, and again, he would be 22. This is not acceptable at all. There's no justifier. I have evidence to provide this with all the links and witness statements and messages from Jonochrome himself. This man should not be praised at all, and I hope this helps people see him for what he really is, and why he should be removed altogether from the community, as he has a high stance in it. I mean, if he's an animator for FNAF, then yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this says Emily's age. This is an imager. Okay, I didn't know what the fuck it was. January. Okay, see 2002. Just do math for me. 2002. That makes them 19 now, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, so everything's good. Deviant for 6 years. Isn't Deviant Art? Is this from Deviant Art? Isn't Deviant Art like kind of like a sketchy image thing? So she was on there since she was 13. That's kind of an issue to me that they would even allow people under 18 to be on Deviant Art, because it's called Deviant Art. Isn't that like porn? Am I right about that? Maybe I'm not educated enough on it. Let's see. All right, so I think people have been childish to the artist for quite some time, and it's just gotten more noticed lately. Still silly and sad. Go to bed, Rattata. I don't know. Okay, these are just some. I dig chicks with dicks and chicken. All right, this is just his like weird feed in Deviant Art. Okay. Let's see. Let's get more into this. All right, so the first one here. Okay, let's do it like this. Great, we have the fucking 1,000-pound life there. All right. Sorry, can I zoom in on this? Okay, I can confirm I was in the group chat. Yeah, Emily was actually a part of the chat at one point in time when it was still around, though left. If I recall correctly, it was because of the personal issues on her end, though I won't get into what those were for privacy's sake, though said issues were unrelated to Jonathan. Now, I don't have too much information, but I do actually have some. This goes back to when net neutrality was a big talking point. Jonathan had expressed fears about the possibility of net neutrality going away, and I do recall him citing Emily as one of the biggest reasons he was fearful for that possibility. I wasn't entirely sure the extent of their relationship was. I do think it was plain to see the two of them were closer than the rest of us in the group DM. Even if there's not a situation, well, I mean, it's inappropriate either way. Even if they weren't, there's nothing sexual about it, because there's no reason for a grown man to be friends with a fucking child. That's one of the biggest issues. Something I recall being mentioned at one time, though I don't remember if this was inside or outside of the group DM, was Jonathan sending her something as in a physical package. I'm not sure what the gift was, but it was something I do remember. Yes, it's inappropriate. I think I also remember him using the term online relationship at one point, but this is a years old memory. Okay. I know that John had a girlfriend in 2017 and 18. If that's the same person as Emily, then that's crazy, basically what to say. If I had to post a guess, it most likely was Emily. Speaking personally here, as I said, I recall him saying online relationship, though I only have my own memory to go on here, but I remember for certain his panic with net neutrality and contacting Emily. Okay, this is, obviously this is suggestive, but I wouldn't say this is incriminating necessarily. From memory, it was explicitly romantic. Though in public, even if it wasn't romantic, it's inappropriate. This is the fucking problem here. I mean, there's no reason for a 24-year-old to be fucking friends with a 14-year-old, or 22-year-old to be friends with a 14-year-old. Like, there's no way. It was only referred to vaguely with no specifics when it came to names and such. Yeah, Jonathan specifically, from what I remember, phrased it as them being in a relationship. I don't know what IRRC or IIRC means. They mentioned it in the group chat. That was a lot like excusing, I guess, stuff like nothing sexual until legal age. Yeah, that's still problematic. I mean, that would, oh, if I recall. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this would be what grooming is. Like, oh, nothing sexual till we're of age. But it's like, yeah, but you're prepping them to have sex with you at a legal age. That is what grooming is. That is a problem. You're creating an emotional and like you're creating some kind of a dependency on this person, or this person onto you rather. So like, yeah, that's what grooming would be. I do believe they were an item. Yeah, don't quote me, but I recall Jonathan saying something along the lines of being with Emily romantically. Okay, so a lot of this is okay. Let's see. My youngest older sister is now engaged, which means soon I'll be the only unmarried kid within my 6 family. I married myself. I was going to make a joke about you marrying yourself, but then I found this gem, marrying your work. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's this to him. That is the weirdest autocorrect thing. Your work equals yourself in autocorrect land. The plan is to marry Emily. It's, well, it's just... okay, well, there you go. His plan is to marry Emily. It's just going to be a while. That, if this isn't a doctored message, this is admitted to grooming. There it is. We'll have to see his response, but if this isn't like if this isn't photoshopped in some capacity, this is an admittance to grooming. Thank you very much for outing yourself. Jesus Christ, these fucking people. I'm scared about tomorrow. I haven't talked about it at all because I don't like getting political, and I've just been trying to distract myself from the issue as much as possible. But yeah, net neutrality ends tomorrow. I wouldn't be as nervous if it wasn't for the fact that I've been in a long-distance relationship for 2.5 years. Not sure how this is supposed to do in this situation. So he's referring to like the child Emily. Okay. Holy moly. Okay, so this is his response. It's the same thing here. Okay, so apparently this is his response. We were worried that this would happen one day. This is Emily's account, so there's no confusion when she makes her own statement. Oh, great. So you're going to pressure a child. Well, she's 19 now, but you're basically going to pressure a child into making a fucking statement about this. Her statement doesn't really matter. The problem is that like, so if her statement is like, oh no, it's okay, everything was fine, you can't take that at face value because she was a child and manipulated. Even if he didn't intend to manipulate her, I'm using quotes because give me a fucking break. But there was still a manipulation. It's incredibly inappropriate. Anyway, let's see what this guy has to say. Well, if my statement means anything, here it goes. I'm not a child groomer. I'm not a pedophile, plain and simple. I wouldn't dream of manipulating, abusing, or exploiting anyone, much less minors. And the twitlonger has no evidence to suggest that I did. It comes across as spiteful to me more than it comes across as a post made out of legitimate concern for someone's safety. It doesn't really come across as spiteful to me. It just comes across as like information. Like it doesn't come off even as like attacking. It comes off as worried. Like, it's not even full of rhetoric, if you look back at it. Like, there's not even, like, a lot of information in it. There's not a lot of, how am I trying to express myself? Like, there's not a lot of outrage even in here. And I don't mean that to suggest that this person's bad, but I mean, it's not like they're pushing, like, an extreme outrage scenario. They're like, hey, this really bothered me. I wish I came forward sooner. It doesn't have any malicious intent to it, at least from what I can see. That said, I can't deny the screenshots are real. Okay, so he's... I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but he's a fucking, like, yeah, you're a pedophile and a groomer. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the screenshot literally said you were waiting for a child to hit of age. It's a problem. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, when Emily and I met, dating wasn't even a consideration for obvious reasons. You should have never met in the first place. She was 14 and you were 22. It's not even close to reasonable age gap at all. We were friends who got along really well. You shouldn't have. My first relationship was with someone my age, which only lasted a few months because we didn't communicate very well. So I don't like that mess. I don't like that specifically. My first relationship was with somebody my age, which only lasted a few months because we didn't communicate really well. To me, the reason that bothers me is because to me it suggests, sorry for saying to me so much, but it suggests that they're saying like, oh, I don't get along well with people my age, so I want somebody younger because they just don't get me. I don't like that narrative. It's really creepy and gross. That was when I started questioning what was really important in a relationship and what actually makes two people compatible. Well, proper age is one of those things. I realized that Emily and I share the same religious beliefs. She's 14 at the time. What? We have a similar sense of humor. There's a lot. It's weird that you would identify this heavily with a child. Like, can we just like We just acknowledge that. It's weird that you identify with a kid. That's not normal. It's very bizarre. We have a similar sense of humor. There's a lot of overlap in our interests and hobbies. Well, of course, you're in the same pedophile FNAF community. Sorry, it's a pedophile community. I mean, honestly, though, a lot of these fandoms seem to be a fucking breeding ground for really inappropriate shit. And we could comfortably talk about a lot of things. We both felt like maybe we were meant to be together, and we're just born at the wrong times. Dude, this is so bad. This guy, to me, this is reading that this guy has a legitimate mental disorder. I'm not even like being like, it's just how it reads to me, because this is just so fucking disconnected. We started making it because it's just so dude, this is insane. We started talking, making it clear right away that there would be nothing sexual about our conversations, and we wouldn't meet in person until she was at least 18. So that's a huge problem. So let's just say that anybody here is like 20, or let's say you're 22, and you were going to engage in some kind of relationship with a 14-year-old. And when I say relationship, I don't mean like actual intimate relationship in any capacity. Let's say you play the same game together with a group of 10 other people online with varying age ranges, which you shouldn't do. But let's say you're going to do that. If the first thing that you establish when you talk to somebody is that you aren't going to do anything sexual until they're 18, that instantly establishes that you have a sexual desire and intent when you're engaging with that person. If you were going to like randomly be playing games with somebody that's very young because you have a big group and like community, you shouldn't do it. But if you're doing it, you wouldn't establish that boundary. You would just not become their friend. Like, you could play games with them, but you wouldn't get close to them. That's it. You probably shouldn't want to get close to them, because that would be fucking weird, right? So it doesn't make any sense that you would establish that there would be nothing sexual, because that means that you had a sexual intention from the start. You had relationship intentions right off the bat. And the fact that you said, well, wait till you're 18, that's literal. That's grooming talk. It's just bizarre. And I think this person thinks that this is like a thing that removes incrimination from them. We never had any intention of. I even said to this 14-year-old girl, I don't want to fuck you till you're 18. Okay. That's weird. That's very fucking weird. That's very weird. We enjoyed each other's company, just talking and hanging out. Hold on a second. Occasionally we'd watch movies together. For a long time, I didn't see the harm in it. I always put her needs before my own. This is so weird. Always aiming to do what was best for her, and in a way, I thought I was saving her from experiencing the same heartbreak I did. This comes off as very manipulative to me. Very, very manipulative. Like, very like saviorish. Like, I'm saving this child from heartbreak of a relationship with somebody their age. Very disgusting. This year, 2021, would have been the year we met in person. Sorry. With her age 19. But, Jesus Christ, dude, come on. Did he say another age? Okay. But this was also when I learned she started to have doubts about our relationship. She knew I didn't mean any harm, while also saying I had effectively prevented her from exploring other romantic options by approaching her when I did. So right off the bat, so even if Emily doesn't understand the full extent of what happened to her, she's realizing that this individual had a profoundly negative impact on them experiencing life with people their own age that's appropriate, and having relationships with those people. To me, this suggests that this person is very controlling on top of everything. I can't prove it, but the way that he's speaking, talking about how he was trying to protect her, he was trying to put her before him, and trying to save her from heartbreak, it sounds very controlling, especially with her saying that he had prevented her from, exploring other romantic options. This sounds very, very, very controlling. This doesn't even seem like an innocent situation. I'd like to say I knew better, but until that moment, I kind of didn't. I thought I'd done everything right, and I gambled on the assumption that if we were really meant to be together, it wouldn't have mattered if in several more years. But the reality is I didn't give her enough time to grow, and I shouldn't have even entertained the idea. It's a mistake that I've made the one time, and I'll never make it again for as long as I live. Dude, what? This is ridiculous. So what they're saying is that if it worked out, it would have been fine. This is what he's saying. He's basically saying is that if this worked out, it would have been fine, but it didn't work out, so I feel bad. I don't really get that. This doesn't show remorse. Dude, here's the thing, right? Like, when it comes to, like, one time, I don't know. This doesn't... dude, this happened over the course of 5 years. This isn't really, like, a one-time thing. For anyone who wishes to hear the victim side of the story, the fact that you call them a victim, rightfully so, is showing that you knew that you're fucking wrong. For anyone who wishes to hear the victim side of the story, Emily and I are on good terms, and she's planning to make her own response as soon as she can. Regardless, I was wrong for pursuing a relationship with her. I can't change the past, but I hope that my story can at least serve as an example to others. Yeah, don't be a manipulative child groomer. Good example, thank you. Please, whether you're an adult or a minor, don't make the same mistake I did. I don't like that either. I don't like the if you're an adult or a minor, because what he's saying is that Emily was part of the problem as well. You guys probably are having trouble seeing what I'm reading right now, aren't you? I'll put it up here for now. So yeah, when he said you might, whether you're an adult or a minor, so that's putting blame on the child. There's no blame to put on the child. You might have the best intentions and the utmost confidence in a potential relationship with somebody out of your age range, and you might not see any red flags, but that's not an excuse. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, dude. What? You might not see any red flag, dude. You're the red flag. What the fuck? It's not. Minors should be especially careful in an online space because there are people who out there who want to take advantage of you. This could have ended worse. Stay safe. Okay, so what he's saying there is that it wasn't so bad for her. Listen, like, Jesus Christ, there's so many problems. Listen, his only response could be like, I really fucked up and I engaged in an inappropriate relationship and I'm very sorry. That was the 3 lines that he could have said. That's how you held yourself accountable. The fact that there is quite a bit of gaslighting in here leads me to believe that this person is not being honest. I don't like the downplay. I don't like the fact that there seems to be like this subtextual or this seems to be like the implications that they were very manipulative. Let's see the comments though. Don't let the comments fuck you up, man. You did the right thing. They're not really. Okay. What's interesting though, what I find is interesting though, is that this came out in okay, so they were supposed to meet at age when she was 19, but she's having doubts. I wonder if she only had the doubts because somebody outed the relationship, or I'm trying to express this the right way. Like, I feel like my assumption, and this is an assumption, is that she knew that something was inappropriate about it. Because oftentimes a lot of kids, they'll feel like something's wrong, but they don't feel like they can act on it. They don't feel like they can like be like, oh, this is wrong, I shouldn't do this. Because they're a kid. Like, they don't know how to stand up for themselves. That's one of the reasons why kids shouldn't be in a relationship with adults. I wonder if either the leak was because she wanted to like put it out in the public to try to disconnect them, or this leak here gave her the confidence to disconnect. Mr. Jonochrome, you could have just denied everything, and this could have gone down any similar to Scott's situation. What did Scott do? And yet here you are, flat out admitting that you've done. It doesn't matter how much sugar you coat on it, you'll regret your actions. You just want us all. Okay, good for that person. But I don't like that they're suggesting they could have just like said no. And honestly, whatever happened. It's good that you acknowledge what you did was wrong. I don't like the fact that people are just like so ready to forgive this guy. You can always separate the art from the artist. I don't like this thing here that this person's saying. Sorry, I forgot that I was here. Like, this is very apologist rhetoric. So a lot of times people will do stuff like this. They'll be like, well, this fundamentally what you're saying here is that, oh, the person is bad, but they do good things, so it's not so bad. But you can't disconnect the art from the artist unless like 100 years has gone by. Then I kind of get it, I guess. But when you're talking about like a living person, you can never separate the art from the artist. What happens here is you go, well, they did good things. And even if it's in your mind, you go, well, they did good things, so it's okay what they did was wrong. You know what I mean? It's the same reason Brock Turner got off. Brock Turner was a guy who got really drunk. Well, he got drunk, and then a girl got drunk. She passed out. She was like completely unconscious, and he raped her behind a dumpster. And they let him go because, well, he was a promising young guy who had a bright future. And it's like, okay, Jesus fuck. I'm a child groomer. I'm not a pedophile, but you literally said the screenshots are real. Yeah, true. Her response. Wait, she has a response thread. Oh, she deleted it. Okay, so this is gone. Her response thread, again, this doesn't change what I did was wrong. I'm not absolved of punishment because surely I'm sorry, but I'm taking steps to be sure nothing like this happens again for what it's worth. Well, okay, so this account's completely gone. They must have deleted it. Somebody, I think, screenshotted it. I don't know. Read through all this is Emily's post. While I can't forgive you, I understand. I do understand both of you will move on with your life and live it to the fullest. Please don't panic just because the Twitter mob is going to apeshit, and this clearly hasn't. Is this them responding? This is just some fucking dumbass, I think, saying something. Don't come back. Bro, too far. There's no redemption for you, John. It must have been really bad. It must have been really bad. Because it's gone. Yeah, it's completely gone. It's like all of it's gone. So this person's entire fucking account is gone. That's insane. Yeah, why would it be deleted? People, based on the reaction, it seems like it was a really bad response that was completely inappropriate. Like, not inappropriate. I don't know. I mean, the girl came forward with her truth, and they deleted it, so it might have been really bad. She might have felt like this is the problem, dude. I think it's fucked up in general to pressure a victim of some kind of like misconduct, grooming, a victim of grooming. You force them to respond in a way that does, like, I understand that they probably weren't 100% on Jonochrome's side, but it still felt like a defense to Jonochrome, you know? This fucking idiot. Which why I did get bullied. Yeah, so here's my thing. I think I mean, like, listen, I hope that Scott fires them. This obviously is disgusting. I don't really see how this is justifiable. It's pretty fucking gross. The downplay, if this person feels like an abusive person, too. That's fucking nuts, dude. The fact that they were ready to go through with it still today shows me that they didn't really change. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they were like, oh, I did this when I was 22 and then I realized it was really bad like when I got 23. It's like, hey, I'm 27, 29 now. I'm 27 years old now, and I still think that this is an appropriate relationship, despite everything that I've learned. Doesn't make any sense to me. This person's gross. Very inappropriate. All right, so these are the deleted responses. This is from Emmy, I guess. This is the person. This is my understanding. Somebody sent me these screenshots. Regarding Jonochrome, this will be deleted. Okay, they said they were going to delete this. Please respect me and Jonochrome in this situation. Please do not refer to me as my real name or Mbany either. I would like to stay anonymous. As for the victim, the 13-year-old question, I am going to state the actual truth. Oh, as the victim. Okay, the 13-year-old in question. Wait, they're 13? Okay. As for the person who exposed Jonochrome, I do not wish to be involved in this. I do not care about this anymore. I've moved on, and so has he. If I am his only victim, then don't make any more accusations. I know the situation better than anyone. Okay, so I understand, like, as I understand that a victim of a situation would want it to just, like, this is one of those problems. Like, I totally understand why they would want it to just be dead and move on, because they don't want to have to constantly relive the situation. To everyone, don't say, I'm sorry this happened to you, because Jonochrome is already sorry to me, and that's enough. I don't need your sympathy. Spread my response so people know what actually happened. You're right, but guess what? It happened. Nothing ever came of it. Absolutely not. I'm not pressing charges on an innocent man. I wouldn't call him innocent, but I understand they want to move on from it. I'm uncomfortable with people's assumption to me. You are not the victim. I'm an adult. I don't defend nor despise him. let me speak instead of treating me like a child who needs to be told that they're being manipulated. I know what happened. They probably were. Well, they were manipulated when they were younger. Stockholm Syndrome and his emotional responses happens. Well, I mean, we don't need the fucking internet psychologists over here to pretend like they know what the fuck they're talking about. It happens to some abuse and hostage victims when they have positive feelings towards the abuser. Jonochrome said I could leave him at any time and that he respects my decisions. Does that sound like Stockholm Syndrome? You don't know what happened between us. This was settled in private. I'm not praising him or bashing him. I'm simply neutral. If you were neutral, you would not be posting about how he is still a good guy despite dating you when you were 13. He was 21. You're right. I don't know what happened, but yet I understand why they deleted it in general. You don't seem to understand. The sexual intent was literally only something that he mentioned. Having sex while I was still a child was not mentioned. Was it still right? No, he almost crossed the line, but he didn't. Well, that makes it worse. He almost crossed the line, nor did he intend to meet me or share anything explicit. He almost crossed the line. How the fuck? Okay. I'm also aware that no sexual stuff until legal is still wrong and gross because that does constitute as grooming, but there was still genuinely a relationship between us. Not romantically, but a friendship that was had. It seems like it was romantic. I can confidently say Jonochrome was a good friend. Yes, there was romance, but it wasn't good by any means. He and I both knew that there was something wrong with it, but tried to pretend there wasn't. Okay, so this means that there was romance, and that they both knew this. Well, there's no responsibility that she has as a child, or she did have as a child. So he was actually being romantic with her, and he was, and even if it doesn't matter if she was being romantic because she's a child. So he shouldn't be reciprocating, but please do not harass him. I can tell he's doing better because he's talked to me about before this mess got out. As an adult, I'm not pressing any charges against Jonochrome, and I truly hope he is living his best life. He has been seeking therapy, and I do hope he'll make it out of this alive. His multiple apologies to me are proof of his self-improvement. I'm hoping this is enough. I do not want to make another statement, and frankly, I'm pissed that it even came out because he's hopefully not going to do this again. I'm not traumatized from this. If he does it again, go ahead and talk about it. Otherwise, leave us alone. Now, I don't know if they are or aren't traumatized by this. I'm not a fucking therapist. But I do know that the only reason that they have any level of positive thoughts for this Jonochrome person is because they were groomed by them. Of course, they're going to be more empathetic towards or sympathetic towards a person. Note, I hate my 13-year-old self. Please don't bring up stuff from when I was a teen, just in general. Don't bother us. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like, they hate their 13-year-old self. That sounds like they're blaming themselves for what happened. As for the person who exposed him, I do not wish to be involved in this. Okay, I think we read this already. Okay, yeah, I think we got everything. Yeah, okay, so that's... Listen, I understand from her perspective that she doesn't want to talk about it anymore. This was a fuck up. This is a part of her life that got fucked up, and she's embarrassed by it. A lot of victims of some kind of, abuse, they don't want to talk about their story. They don't want to, and they shouldn't have to. And that's something that people should respect. When it comes to this individual Jonochrome, though, I mean, his apology wasn't even good. I don't know. Personally, if I was Scott, I would fire the guy. I don't particularly care for this person. I mean, it's just like, it's complicated. You have the victim in there, and so it makes, it's one of those things where let her deal with it in her own way. That's up for her. Unfortunately, he seems to have fucked her up in some capacity. But we need to respect her and allow her to process the way that she wants to. So